to episode 2 of this old car featuring Subaru. This time it's the 2001 Outback. Anyway, I've done a little bit of work off camera here. Don't worry about it. If you want to figure out how to remove a Subaru engine, there's a lot of videos and a lot of great tutorials written online. Yeah, so engine's on the ground, ready to go. And I picked up this engine stand here from old PA, Princess Auto, Power Fist. 1,000-pound engine stand. We haven't unpacked this yet. I'm hoping all the pieces are in there. $64 for the engine stand, so that's pretty decent. The best price I could get at Lordco in town here with my discount was $150, so it's a heck of a lot better. So the plan for today is to set this up on the stand and make it easy to work on. Then I'm going to kind of clean it off with some engine cleaner and get it brushed off before I start to disassemble it, because there's a fair amount of crud on it. My plan is once I put this back together, I'm going to mask off all the important bits, and once it's clean, hit it with some aluminum paint. Aluminium for some of you others. So we're going to see what happens. Hi, Nowell Holmes here. The engine was really easy to remove. There are only 6 bolts holding it in, I believe. 2 at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, let's go with 8 bolts holding it in. And I could get to all of them but 2 from up top. Only the far side, but underneath the starter, some of them were a little difficult to get at by the steering shaft. So we were able to do those from below. But everything else, this is the easiest engine I've ever removed. In just a few hours, this thing was sitting on the floor. Considering I've never done one before and I have no idea really what I'm doing, not so bad. So hopefully it goes in just as easily. The only mistake I made was I left the engine mounts attached to the engine on removal. So that meant I had to lift the engine up about this far just to clear where the bolts go through the subframe. So remove the engine mounts from the block if you're going to pull this sucker out. Anyway. Well, there it is. I got it on the stand. You know, it's the best Princess Auto could do. It was missing just one bolt that holds one of these casters on. Each caster in the front is held on with 4 bolts. I don't know if you can see them in there. I'm missing one from the case, so that's kind of kakaroch. But anyway, here it is, ready on the stand. So, should be nice if this was a better working height for me, but whatever. So yeah, I can turn it around on here. If I pull this pin, which I have not tried. This will be the first time. This is usually when the engine goes whoop and falls to the bottom. But let's see how this works out. Is this gonna fall on me? Oh, it doesn't even turn. Oh, it's jammed. Yeah. Oh, she's a tight one. Anyway, so we can kind of work on. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna dump this thing over. So that's way too much work. Oh shit, we're leaking oil. Oh man. Oddly enough, that's leaking from the spark plug tubes, so we want that out anyway. Well, yeah, I'm really straining to turn this. So I'm just a weakling or something. With safety pin in there. I'm not gonna video a whole bunch of this just because there's so much other stuff on YouTube you can watch to do with the removal of an EJ25 and rebuilding it, but I'll get a few clips here and there, maybe some pictures along the way, and we're going to keep it classy. Real classy. Okay guys, we got the heads taken off, the engine's out, the heads are off on the bench right over there. Looks like the gaskets were definitely, oh, when I do this, I look like the sitting on the toilet girl on YouTube. Don't search for that. It's entertaining, go ahead. Pause this video and search for that now. Anyway, that's my shout out to that. These heads here, you can see the difference of colors on the valves, and that's probably based on what was being flown through them. I think these ones are the exhausts. Anyway, I'm going to just flip the camera around here. So for exhaust valves, I would normally kind of expect to see a lighter color like this. But on this one here, that's just upside down, no big difference. So they're more than, get some light on here, they're more or less the same colorings. However, on this cylinder here, this one seemed to actually have been burning oil, if I had to guess. There's a lot more debris on that old spark plug there. There's a lot more debris on that spark plug there than any of the others. Yeah, I would say this cylinder was definitely burning oil. So that's my 2 cents, but on this head here, it seems like most of the gasket material was leaking around the very near the oil filter. The oil filter sits right near here. Here's the gasket off that side. Let's take a little look at it. I'm just going to leave it there actually. So this area here is completely washed away. So it looks like here I had coolant and oil mixing right here. This is probably why our car had the problem. Now it wasn't from the combustion area into the coolant or the oil, it was just coolant and oil. So that looks like that's kind of what happened there. If I flip it over, there's nothing on this side either, nothing left. And there's not a huge amount of material left on the head, so it's safe to say that's blown out. And this side isn't that much better. Let's see if I can, I'll just set this right here. It's just not great. It's not a pretty sight. It really isn't. So I guess that's kind of the way things go for these Subarus, unfortunately. Looking at, oh man, that's not okay. Looking back into the engine and ignoring that mess on the floor, you can still see crosshatch in the cylinder here. You probably can't because it's just, you know, oh, there you go. Crosshatch, and there's a little, like, hardly anywhere for, oh man, if only I could get a focus there. There you go. In the center of the picture there, you can see there's maybe a tiny bit of wear. And, you know, even these lines here, that's not even anything I can feel with the fingernail. So we're not going to worry about that. So I picked up this box of multi-sand, fine grade sanding blocks at the dollar store actually. Now I want to use them for cleaning the deck here, I guess. Yeah, you could send this out to a machine shop to be checked and all that. I might run a straight edge across it. I probably won't though. But I am going to send the heads out to the machine shop without question because I don't want to do this job twice and I don't really want to put the valve seals in because I'm lazy too. So I'm going to get them to pop me valve seals while we're doing this. So until I get parts, we're pretty much waiting here. What I need are the valve seals, and then I can send those off to the machine shop. What the heck do we use? My company, I work for the BMW dealer here in Nanaimo. You'd never guess about all these freaking wrecks I work on, but hey, I enjoy this. This is different. Like for example, let me show you. One of the differences between working on a BMW and a Subaru. This right here, this is the engine wiring harness. There's about maybe 10 connectors on there. And you work on a new BMW, new Mercedes, new Audi, well, let's not talk about Volkswagen. I don't like them. People's car can shove it. On a BMW, this harness would be huge because there's a lot more going on, a lot more emissions stuff, but also performance stuff too. Turbochargers, blah, blah, blah. So maybe on a WRX or an STI, whatever you want to call it, maybe those Subarus are a little more complicated, but this is a lot simpler than what I'm used to working on. Like this engine, I had this out in an afternoon. Like it was one of those days where I really didn't feel like, sorry, it's so bright here with that skylight. Oh, would you look at that? That's a charming angle of me. Yeah, I had this engine out in one evening. I didn't really feel like working on it, but you know, I dragged my butt off the couch and came outside and it was out like that. And I didn't work particularly hard. So, and this, I had the heads off in about 5 minutes. So you could say these are easy to work on. In fact, I am saying that. But wait, I got some bad news for you. Subaru here, remember I pointed out a little bit of rust beginning right about, where was it? Right here on either side. She's getting a little crusty there. Now, some bad news. I won't show you right now because it's an awkward camera angle and I'm too lazy. Underneath the car, and apparently this is fairly common, we've got a rusty rear subframe. So, options include forget it, sell it as is, don't tell the person about it, sell it as is, tell them about it. I could get a used subframe for $175 from Malahat Auto Parts, and they'd be happy to sell that to me, and I'd be kind of leery about putting it in because there's 4 bolts that hold this subframe in, and they're probably quite badly rusted in. I think it would be quite safe to say after, you know, being in Terrace, BC, which is where this car is from, and now just being dickered with road salt and all sorts of gravel crap and probably never been washed under there because due to neglect, it's going to be not a nice one to remove. So here's plan D. I've been told there might be an extended warranty no, that's the wrong word for it, a recall for the rear subframe. Now you can Google this, and I did. There was a recall back in 2003 for these particular subframes from like 2000 to 2003 Outbacks. This is an 01, so it's right into that area. And back in '03, I think what they did was they painted the subframe, cleaned it out, and throw some anti-rust crud inside of it. What am I hearing? I think there's bees in here. There's bees up there. He's buzzing around. I don't like bees. Let's hope the bees leave me alone. Bees knees. Anyway, so let's hope that maybe that recall will cover it. I got a few contacts at the local Subaru dealership, so hopefully they can help me out and give me some information at least. Even if it's not covered, I want to know if there's a possibility that it could be free. Don't pay a cent event. So let's see. So while I'm waiting for parts, I might clean up the inside. I mean, the interior is really not bad at all. I mean, you really can't complain about this. I don't know how dirty the back seats are, but I've got a carpet cleaner. Yeah, I probably won't even bother cleaning. I'm going to give this a wipe. Wipe and wash. He's just a little dusty. Pretty much just going to wash the car. Oh, what's this? Grout. Pretty much just going to wash the car, drive it. Bob will be your uncle. Oh, look at this raised roof. Like our old Land Rover, eh, Dad? The one thing this car doesn't have is a sunroof, which I really like. So anyway, that's enough of me going on about the Subaru for today. It's a nice day outside. Might go for a motorbike ride. In fact, that is what I'm going to do. I'm committing to it right now. And she's a beautiful one out there, kids. So it's time to put some miles on the bike. By the way, if you stay tuned, I'll be selling my bike shortly to a good friend, and it's a good bike for good friends. So we'll see what happens, and I'm gonna do a video this Sunday of maybe a new bike that I'm looking at getting at. And I can't tell you anything about it right now because I don't even know if I'll like it because I've not ridden one yet. But this Sunday I'll know. So anyway, thanks for watching. And I'll give you some updates on Subaru as soon as we get some parts. And as soon as I install them in machine shop, all that stuff. And we should have that engine back in the car between now and soon. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe and comment on this Dickard Subaru.